You want to find out how to apply skip trowel or Spanish texture, and maybe this is the most important video like you ever gonna see, because I'm a guy, like an average guy like you are, and even though I'm not a professional, I have the same skill level as you do, and because of that, this video is gonna be very, very important, because if I can do it, so can you. And if you watch professional videos before, they are very intimidating. Those people have a very, very formed hand how to do it, and they make it look so easy. But is it that easy? That's what I'm going to answer in this video. From an average guy to an average guy, this is how it's done. I'm going to risk my own walls for your entertainment and to build your confidence that you can do it, because I feel confident that I can do it. I'm going to explain it the best I can, but these walls need to be finished. Before you start, make sure you have all these things that I have here on the ground. So I have a bucket where I'm going to do my mixture. I have a bucket with water, and I have the mixture. Now this one, it's completely your choice. I'm using a compound that is between 0 and 2, so it's not gonna crack. This is the finishing compound, and this is the easiest to work with, and it has a long time, 110 minutes to dry out. So that's very, very important. This cloth is because you're gonna have drops. This is to take the stuff out of the bucket. Also, there's other tools that you could use, but this is the one that I have. As I said, this is not a professional video, and this works for me. If this works for me, it will work for you. I have a mixing machine. Now this is not a fancy mixing machine, it's just a drill, but it will work. I have a broom, and I'll show you what I'm going to use the broom for. And I have the trowel, which I'm going to use it to skip. As you can see, it's older and rusted, but as long as it's clean, it will do. And a knife. This is a drywall knife. If you want to use it this way, it's your choice, but the type of a texture I'm going to do today is going to be easier to be done with a trowel. That's why it's called a skip trowel. Also, you're going to need a ladder to be able to reach hard to reach places. First thing you have to do is you have to clean your walls where you're going to work, so you'll have room. If you don't have room, you trip over things and you will not be able to work. This drywall has a lot of dust on it from the construction process, and I like to brush it off before I start, so the rigids or the drywall compound sticks better. So it's as simple as that. Just rub it off, and that will help you out. You could paint it with something like this, which is going to create a bounding compound, but it's not necessarily necessary. This will save you a step, and you could just clean it with a broom. Before you start and you form your hand, try somewhere in the corner. Exercise, try on a piece of drywall. That way you can form your hand before you actually go to the big walls. To be able to patch behind the heating elements, you should remove the heating elements if it's an option. The question is that where do you start? In my case, I'm going to start over here around the doors. I'm going to clean this out really, really nice. I've already exercised my hand a little bit on this wall, and it has a very, very nice texture already on it. And don't worry about these spots. These are not a problem, these are part of the texture. To mix the drywall is very, very easy. First, you have to put your water in. So I'm going to start with the water and continue with the other one. Make sure you don't mix the compound. And you do it this way because if you put the water first in, there's going to be less dust. Let's give it a try. Very important to mix it for 2 or 3 minutes so it doesn't have this kind of bubbles in it. How thick it should be. Now, first of all, after you finish it, it thickens. So you always want to make it a little bit on the softer side. And right now, it's not soft enough. So when you lift your tool out of it and it doesn't really drip out, this is going to be hard to work with. So now I have to add a little bit more water, let it rest for a little bit. When I add water, I actually use a sponge. Because with the sponge, I have a very, very good control of how much water I put in it. So if it's too soft, and right now it's perfect because it's going to dry out enough by the time I start working with it. But if it's too soft, add a little bit more drywall compound. If it's too hard, add a little bit more water. And then play with the quantities and go close, close, close until you get it where you want it. Okay, first question people will ask. Can you finish, stop, and continue the next day? Yes. Today I made another bucket. This one is a little bit softer, and I'm going to continue where I left off. Put on your trowel like this, and then just start from the bottom. There's gonna be a baseboard over here, but just start from the bottom and just go off the wall. And just let it sit on the wall. Look how simple it is. Don't worry about having extra material or extra layers on it, extra scratches, because that's the idea. It's called a skip trowel. So just put it on the wall and then just drag it with you. How thick you make it is how thick your texture is going to be. Now I have to connect with the two walls that I made before. So what I do is I add a little bit to the skip trowel, just spread it out this way. And then once I add it to the trowel, I just tap it on the wall like this. Until you have these raised bumps. You see you have these raised bumps on the wall, and then all you do is you take the trowel, you put it at an extreme angle, and you just knock them down. That's why it's called a knockdown texture. So just knock them down. Here, again, knock them down, and knock them down. It's actually very, very easy. And if you mess it up and you made it too soft, or you have lines like these in it, it's just a matter of going like this, add a little bit of material, and just knock it down. Simple as that. Open, showing you how it is, and it's not gonna dry out, it's not gonna be terminal. So all you have to do is just drag it, and the texture will just be applied. It's as simple as that. You just have to have a very, very light hand, like very, very light hand when you do it. So that way, there's no edges. Like you see, there's an edge over there. If you want to cover it, just put a little bit of material on it. And that's it. It's hidden. Texture is unique to you. So if you do it to yourself, only you have it. Unless this is your job and you do it for other people, but otherwise, only you have it. I was afraid when I first started. I'm going to show you how it looks at the end, but I'm going forward with no problem whatsoever. It eats up a little bit of material, about a bucket, this entire wall, and then I have a lot of walls, but it just takes time and I have plenty of it. So let me show you at the end of this video how it looks like once I'm done. I'm going to edit these videos together. That's the idea. This is a finished wall, and that's the idea behind it, is you can do it. It's not hard. The material is not hard to work with. The texture is really, really easy to work with. It's unique to you, the way that you put it on the wall. If you have a couple of extra knife marks, it's not the end of the world. They're easy to be hidden. They're easy to be sanded off if you're really, really bothered by it. But it's gonna have amazing results and it's gonna look great. You could do it yourself. And I'm a beginner like you. I've never done this before, and this is the first time I'm doing it. And it worked well, so just go right ahead. Don't be afraid.